you know, with Bill wherever he is, Dangote wherever he is, you know, and myself in Bauchi. Before that review, I made sure I paid all the outstanding, despite the crunching financial difficulties the state was facing. So from that point on, we have remained true to our commitments.
In terms of education, I want to zero in on girl-child education, because that's one area where it seems as if there are now challenges, especially those challenges linked with the insurgency, because it appears to be one of the key objectives of the insurgents to prevent female children from going to school.
Yeah.
What's the situation in Bauchi?
When we took over, to be very honest, the situation was dismal because all the numbers...
We had reports of very, very dilapidated infrastructure in some of the schools.
All right. All the numbers, you know, in respect of education were against Bauchi State. They were negative in respect of Bauchi State. And that was why we outrightly decided to make education key in the policies of government. We did this by allocating the lion's share of the budget of the state to education consistently up till this moment. And we realized the need not only to rehabilitate dilapidated structures, like you said, they were all over the state in very, very, very serious conditions. We set out to do that. At one go, I renovated 1,700, either renovation or construction of brand new classroom blocks. If you travel by road in Bauchi State, wherever you go, wherever you encounter a primary school or a junior secondary school and you see a blue roof, that's my work, and they're there all over. So we took care of the learning environment, you know, by rehabilitating the infrastructure. But we didn't stop at that, because we realized that that was what every government was doing. Yet we were receiving these dismal performance indices. Right. So I said, what is it that these other governments were not doing? We were not paying attention to the welfare of the teachers. So, and then the training of the teachers, the quality of teaching. So we paid attention to that. We started retraining our teachers, and we started paying attention to their welfare. Any teacher posted out to the rural area will attract a special allowance over and above his or her salary. So for that reason, when we took over, the percentage of success in the basic examinations of WAEC and NECO in Bauchi State was 3.5%. By 2016, we took it up to 17.6%. By last year, we took it up to 27.8%. So I think there's something we're doing right with respect to education. Recently, some youngsters, students from Bauchi State, traveled to Malaysia for a debating competition. They won a trophy on behalf of the state. Those children who are doing Islamic religious knowledge, for 2 years running, we have been winning the national Quranic recitation competition and the international Quranic recitation competition. This is all education, and this is all because of the special attention we have been giving to education.
Now, crossing over to the civil service, and when you came on board, of course, like many of your colleagues who came on board in 2015, there were backlog of salaries occasioned by the reduction in allocations, statutory allocations, and all of that. What's the situation in Bauchi now? Do you still owe civil servant salaries?
I do not think any civil servant in Bauchi will remember the last time he was owed any salaries. When we took over, actually, labor was on strike because of unpaid salaries. We had to sit with them. I instructed my deputy governor to sit with them and get them to agree to resume work because that was the only way we could effectively take over the reins of government. And
you
then,
needed them.
Yes, we needed them. And then I told them, I promised them that the first thing I will do is to consider how to begin to assuage their problem. And they answered and they returned to work. We took over government. Within the first 2 weeks, I paid them 1 month salary. You know, I without going to Abuja for FAC, because my estate depends on FAC. So, and then when later on the federal government gave the salary bailout, you know, for some states of the federation, we devoted our own entirely to payment of salaries. ICPC later investigated. A group of NGOs had a conference in Abuja where they invited all governors who partook of the bailout to come and render account. I happened to be the only governor who appeared before them, and I opened up my books for them to inspect and determine whether or not I used that money well.
For the purpose
yes. So we do not have any problems of payment of salaries and pensions. In fact, for the past 1 year, what we have been doing is for all our festivals, religious festivals, be it Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, Eid al-Kabir, Christmas, we pay salaries, if need be, on the 18th of the month to enable our people celebrate these festivals in happiness.
Now, let me take you in another direction. Politics now. Are you interested in a second term?
Well, let me tell you, this is the first time I'm saying this in public. I've been saying it to my people, that I don't mind being a one-term governor if my first time I will be able to correct all the ills that I have found in my state. Like I said, I virtually grew up with my state. I graduated 2 years after my state was created, and I started work for my state until, like I said, I rose to be the Director of Public Prosecutions and later the Attorney General. So I knew all the good things that happened in my state. I was part and parcel of those good things.
And maybe the not so good too.
The not so good, when they started, luckily I was out of government, but I was still a son of the state. I was concerned. And this was why I left my comfort zone. You know, I was a comfortable person. I was not a rich person. I had a thriving practice. I was doing other businesses to the extent that I was very, very comfortable. But I had to leave my comfort zone to go back to Bauchi and join politics in order to correct the ills. In Bauchi, what was happening before 2015 was actually retrogression. And by retrogression, I mean if you are unable to maintain what you have taken over from other people, what other people have built, you are not able to maintain them, they start dilapidating under your watch. That is retrogression. And this was what was happening in Bauchi. Even roads inside the city. Some potholes, if a Mini Cooper enters, it won't be able to come out. Right smack in the middle of the city. So I was concerned. There was no way I could look the other way. So for that reason, I came on board, and with luck, I was able to make it. I have started major projects. Usually what I do is I go through some of the social media when I wake up in the morning, and I have seen some people even threatening to go to court if I don't join. Another one joked, he said, we will wear the same trouser, me and him, if I don't contest. So I am considering all this, and I have started an unprecedented urban revival in Bauchi State, and I'm doing it in the 3 major cities of Bauchi, Azare, and Misau. I'm almost done with Misau. I have finished 9 roads, 9 different roads in Misau, ready for commissioning. I have done 2 in Azare, ready for commissioning. One of them a 5-kilometer dualization with street lights and everything. I'm doing quite a number in the state capital. I have not left the rural areas. I'm doing 8 major projects in the rural areas that will open up the various sections of the rural areas. And the beauty of it is that these projects are spread around the 3 senatorial districts of Bauchi State. So people think that I should not leave these projects halfway done. For that reason, I'm giving consideration to that.
You haven't made up your mind yet?
I have not declared yet.
There's a difference. It's either you haven't made up, you haven't declared.
I've not declared yet.
Have you made up your mind?
I've not declared yet. I'm still considering. I will declare to my people.
So between
the time
now and
comes.
when you declare to your people, what would be your primary consideration in deciding?
My primary consideration will be the level of completion of the various projects we have started, because one cannot have any guarantee. There's this very, very bad phenomenon in Nigeria of abandoned projects. As a policy of my government, I said during my time there wouldn't be any abandoned projects. And I started by showing practically. I took over an estate that was started under the last government, and I completed that estate and named it after a late deputy governor of the state. And I intend to do that with all the other projects that were started by my predecessors. I don't mind people saying, oh, he did not start this project, because I believe this is what has been dragging Nigeria back. And it is only in Nigeria, even smaller African countries, if you go to them, you will not see this phenomenon of abandoned projects. So I intend to make sure that we do not leave any abandoned projects in Bauchi. That will be the cinch.